Hope everyone's well. It's been a while. 2 months.
Hello again and welcome back to one of these. Yes, indeed, it has been quite a while. I agree with Elio there. In my downtime at the moment, I've got some time off, so I was having a look through to see if there was anything that could pique my interest to tantalise the grey cells, as Hercule Poirot would say. And look through the usual channels. I mean, CC is still completely off his rocker. Nathan Oakley is still... What's the best way? Remember Stripe from Gremlins? If you shaved him and painted him flesh coloured, that's the kind of impression I get whenever I see him talking. He's just got an angry face. You could have him on mute, and just the way he puts himself, you just know how odious he's coming across. I know Mike MC2 has a beef with him, but and it's completely justified because he is a horrible person. However, that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is a video that I just happened to come across from our dear faithful friend, Level Up Observer. If there's anybody who can be relied on to be so confident in his assertions and get everything completely 100% wrong, it's him. But he still needs to repeat his mantras, repeat the same things over and over again, certifiable, tested and verified by all, that usual bollocks and bantam. He's still desperately trying to prove that he is right, even though he completely failed at debunking the 55-minute ISS video that myself and Simon Dan challenged him. But anyway, so what we're going to talk about today is this video. Literally, as of just now, the footage, it was 2 hours ago. I've already tried doing this and my sound's completely screwed up. So I'm having another go. The video that he put up, it probably 2 or 3 hours this afternoon, and I can immediately debunk it. That's how easy it is to debunk his assertions. However, little bit of devil's advocate, all he's asking is for an explanation as to what's going on. But as you'll see in the footage I'm about to show you, from his videos, he's hiding the truth from his own viewpoint. Or is he doing it for his benefit or the benefit of his viewers? The sycophants, or the two trains of thought with Elio's audience. It's either people who believe him and will hang on everything he says, even though it's absolute garbage, or those who are just there for a laugh, which I've said before, 95% of his audience. However, let's quickly show you what Elio has asserted and what he said in his latest video, posted probably about 3 hours ago today.
Thank you to all those that were checking in the comments, asking after me, because it's been so long. Appreciate that. The concerns, I'm fine. Thank you to Nathan Oakley for the shout out.
Not exactly something I'd be bragging about, but each to their own.
And also checking in. Appreciate the comments, like I say, and the shout outs. Just been very, very busy, guys. Personal projects in the background, and just as a result, haven't had time to do much with YouTube, to be honest. Let's say, appreciate the shout outs and the concerns and the comments. I'm back today anyway.
Yay.
We've got a strange one. We've got a short clip which is 46 seconds long, and it comes from the Antarctica expedition which took place last year. Something I rejected because it wasn't done in a scientific fashion, and there was lots of problems with it.
The biggest problems that flat earthers, space deniers and demonstrable realists have with the final experiment was it completely destroyed their entire reason for being. Nothing about it was debunkable. It just shattered everything you believe in. Everyone else was absolutely fine with it because it showed reality laid bare. Democracy manifest. Sorry, I'm just keep getting adverts for that bloody t-shirt.
For the record, if it turns out there's a circling sun in Antarctica, so be it. I'm just a guy who stands by what's physically true. And if it turns out, like I said, the sun circles in Antarctica, then that's what it does above the things that are physically true, the things I stand by.
Absolutely nothing in that sentence made a lick of sense.
Makes no difference to me whatsoever. But it's things that we're going to look at now are the reason I rejected the official footage and the claims regarding it. Didn't trust the people involved, and it wasn't done in a scientific fashion, and a lot of the claims weren't met whatsoever. like I said, and it's issues like what we're going to look at as well, which are just, I'm okay. Like I say, it does turn out there's a 24-hour sun there, so be it. But this is the issue, this is one of the many issues, I should say, that are associated with this particular expedition that has gone down like a lead balloon. So let's have a look.
The desperation is almost palpable.
Battery, the whole time his GoPro's still running on the snowmobile, and then he walks back over. Oh, just to clarify as well, because so he'd stopped the camera for a second there, and then started it back up again, just in case you're wondering. But the whole time his GoPro was still running as well at that point.
He's had 2 months off. You think he would have figured out how to record audio properly from his phone by now.
And then he gets back onto the snowmobile and he goes off the other direction. The other way out the loop, all the way back around. Oh, past some random skier, not quite sure what they're doing in the middle of a studio. All the way back around to the back end of the camp.
So Dave's just been narrating his power on the ice here. And Dave mentioned some random skier there, which was about the 31-second mark, I believe. We'll come back at just a smidge more.
Round. Oh, past some random skier, not quite sure what they're doing in the middle of a studio.
So and he mentioned the studio, because some people obviously made the claim based on the amount of problems with some of the footage that was cited. Some people claim that they could have filmed this in some kind of studio. And of course, it's issues like this we're going to look at now. Just coming back, because we're going to look at this random skier that Dave mentioned here. Now I'm going to need to slow the footage down. And turn the volume down. And let's see. This random skier that Dave mentioned, it's going to, top right, he's going to appear. There he is. There's the random skier here. I'm just zooming in here. If I zoom right in, we can see his arms. It looks like he's facing the camera. And it looks like he's got sticks, skis, and he's actually square on facing the camera, okay? Now I'm going to play the footage from here on. It's in slow motion. But the very next shot, this random skier that Dave mentions, is going to just do something very, very strange. Look. Boom. And again. Boom. So the random skier that Dave mentioned goes from this shot, where he's facing the camera, the very next shot is that. Now what's that all about? Goes from a random skier to almost like a levitating monk, maybe? I don't know. Someone with a robe on. 10, 15 feet above the ground there. Let's come back once more. It's in slow motion. Random skier, levitating monk. Bizarre.
Now, what's interesting, a couple of things to point out here. Firstly, he zoomed in on the footage. Now, the footage what he is located. No, the footage he is using is from a debate video that was on Jaren's channel a few weeks ago. Today it's the 11th of the 11th. We shall remember them. The video was from end of October, and it's a debate between Sam Flat Earth Renaissance, if that's even a thing, and Dave McKeegan, who was basically levelling loads and loads of footage, clips that he has from the final experiment, which happened last December. It is now the following November, and people are still talking about it, and people are still trying to debunk it. Now, if you took most of Elio's videos and trimmed out all the garbage, tested and verified by all, tested all the usual things he says, as if he's the ultimate authority on something being genuine or not. He is a crane operator. He has no PhDs. He has no scientific qualifications whatsoever. I have a couple, but they're mainly in catering. So I'm no more or less qualified than he is, and I've never asserted to be that. But I can show you what he's not showing you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the clip in its entirety, or as much as is important, from the actual debate video footage that was really badly dictated. So, the actual debate video footage from the video from the end of October, and you'll see if you can spot what LEO has hidden, deliberately or otherwise, from his footage that he published a few hours ago today. God, you can tell I haven't done this in a while, can't you? It should probably be pointed out at this point that this 46-second clip is from a debate video that lasted several hours. If that's not cherry picking and selective editing, I don't know what is.
This is Toon recording with his GoPro, and he's in the main camp now walking around, and he's just explaining that he's going up to halfway point because he needs to change the battery on his camera. So he sets the camera up while he changes his clothes, and then he walks over to the ALE staff here and into one of the tents. So again, this is a hell of a big studio that you think we must be in here, that he's in this tent, and then he's over to Scott here, and oh, there was that a bit of breath I saw from Scott there. Yeah, that was some breath there. So it's a bloody cold studio that must be. So anyway, he's on his snowmobile. Now bearing in mind, up here in the top corner, I've also got the 24-hour real time from his camera that's up at halfway point. So he's on this snowmobile, and he's going to get on this snowmobile, and Scott's going to drive him out of the camp, up the road, and then at this point here, I swapped the footage over. You can see I've paired them up so you know I've not changed the video randomly. But here we go. So this is now just switching over. And then here, I'll pull the footage in now. Here comes Mr. Toon on his snowmobile as he pulls up to the camp. And then he gets over and he comes over and he changes the battery. The whole time his GoPro's still running on the snowmobile. And then he walks back over. Oh, just to clarify as well, so he'd stopped the camera for a second there and then started it back up again, just in case you're wondering. But the whole time his GoPro was still running as well at that point. And then he gets back onto the snowmobile and he goes off the other direction, the other way out the loop, all the way back around. Oh, past some random skier, not quite sure what they're doing in the middle of a studio, all the way back around to the back end of the camp, back to where they started. Now, I'm going to give you one of two options. Either that is Antarctica, or that is about the single biggest studio building you could ever imagine.
As you probably spotted, what was happening there was Dave was attempting to show pertinent features from a 40-minute clip during a debate with this Sam Flat Earth Renaissance. But obviously he's not going to go over the whole thing second by second by second. So he's grabbed the slider on his MPC-HC, which I haven't seen used in the wild probably in about 5 years. I use out VLC player, but that's my video player of choice. Whatever suits you. So he's grabbed the slider and he's able to skip across. Now when you do that, unless you've got a really high-end system, you're not going to get every single frame. 25 frames a second, 30, 60 frames a second, depending on the footage. It's going to skip. So you're probably losing every 20th frame. Or it's only showing only every 20th, 30th frame, just to show the pertinent bits so you can stop and seek and whatever. You know how video players work on PCs and what have you. So that is what has happened. But because of this, the video that LEO has concentrated on has skipped. Now it's gone from the skier in the background, and the very next frame is not the very next frame. It could be a second later, it could be 5 seconds later, it could be 20 seconds later. And what you're looking at, Leo, is not a monk floating above the ground. It's a flag on a pole. All the footage we have of Union Glacier, the hours of material and evidence we have from that trip, that amazing trip, scientific trip that happened at the end of last year, showed that the area they were operating in was very strictly confined. Reason being, and I think it was Whitsitt may have said it, if you go outside the flag line, you run a very great risk of falling through the snow into a 20-foot crevasse, getting snowed over, and then you die. So it's a dangerous place. That is why not everybody goes there. You can go there. You are free to go there. The Antarctic Treaty does not mean what you want it to mean. So while you can go there within certain confinements for your own safety, you have to still adhere to the rules. And those flag poles with the flags on tell you where you're safe, because they've compacted the ice down. It can be used as a runway, it can be used as a road, it can be used as a pathway. Go outside that and you're taking your life in your hands, literally. So that's as simple as it gets. Level Earth Observer has found some footage. The footage he's found tells him what's going on. All of the material that is abundantly available tells him what he's looking at. And yet he's chosen to, deliberately, through malfeasance, is he being disingenuous? He is deliberately hiding for his audience the truth of the footage he's trying to debunk. So he's had 2 months off, he's come back with this video, and I've debunked it within 3 hours. Why did he even bother? Okay, well, short and sweet. Probably won't be after I throw the video in, and this is probably going to take me another 4 poxy hours to edit together. But thank you very much for watching. If there's any more, I do not know. I was going to do a thing about the Phantom Menace video game earlier, but it just blew my mind how absolutely awful it was, and I just couldn't continue. So, thank you very much for watching. If there's any more, there will be some more. Until then, fare thee well.